Welcome back to Bones, Bourbon, Barley, and Brass. We're a lifestyle channel where we discuss interesting things. And we have a commemorative America 250 double barrel episode for you today. We have Woodford Reserve. And then while we sip our Woodford Reserve, we're going to discuss the Colt Python 6-inch revolver. But before we begin, let's thank our sponsors, our good friends at Toro Land and Ranch Company, www.torolandranch.com. They're an e-commerce platform with vacant land, livestock, working dogs, and soon-to-be apparel and goods. www.torolandranch.com. All right. We got two good ones here. We got Woodford Reserve out of Kentucky. And this is just it says Distillers Select on the bottle, but it's just the regular bourbon. It's not the double oaked or anything commemorative or fancy. And then we have a 6-inch Colt Python. And this is the reintroduced Colt Python with walnut grips. I'll try to get my fingers off of it here. This was reintroduced in 2020. So before we get started on the Python, let's pour ourselves some Woodford Reserve. We figured this was a great mashup to create what I would call a double barrel episode. So we're going to review two things. The celebration of America's 250th birthday. Figured it was a good time with two American staples to create this video since we haven't reviewed either. And arguably I owe you some brass content anyways. So Woodford Reserve, typical copper amber color. Pretty clear. Let's give it a sniff. Let's also look up some statistics on this. 90 proof, appearance is clean, brilliant, honey amber. That's par for the course. Nose is heavy with rich dried fruit, hints of mint, oranges covered with a dusting of cocoa, faint vanilla, and tobacco spice. I get the fruit in there. I don't know that I get the mint. I maybe get a hint of cocoa and a mint of tobacco. The taste, rich, chewy, rounded, and smooth with complex citrus, cinnamon, cocoa, toffee, caramel, chocolate, and spice notes abound. All right, let's take a sip. Yeah, I sort of kind of agree with their assessment. Rich, rounded, and smooth. Yeah, I would agree. I would mention one other thing. You can, if you're an avid bourbon drinker, you can taste like the corn, the oak. It does come through the char, not in a bad way, but a tasteful, like this is a staple way. So, and then finish silky smooth, almost creamy at first with a long, warm, satisfying tail. I would say that's a very correct assessment. It also has note if you've ever smoked with cherry wood, smoked meat, particularly beef, it's got a little bit of a tang to it, so I would agree with that. Let's see here. Not seeing the mash bill. Let me see if I can pull this up. High rye mash, 72% corn, 18% rye, 10% malted barley. Again, just a really solid Kentucky bourbon. Like, in my opinion, I think plain old Woodford Reserve is like the go-to flagship staple Kentucky bourbon. End of story. Let's take another taste. Oh yeah, that's good. Do not serve with Coke. Do not. This is good in an old fashioned. I actually think this is better in a mint julep with a good amount of simple syrup and mashed up mint. I could drink those all afternoon while watching a horse race. So, but obviously, you're welcome to drink it as you please. I like it neat. I like most things neat. That's just the way I roll when it comes to bourbon. So this is probably, well, this bottle here is a 1 liter. I think a 1 liter is $42 at Total Wine. Let's take a look real quick. I think you could get $7.50 for like 35. Let's look. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. Yeah, about 42, 43 for the 1 liter. $7.50 is $27.99, and I think that's very fair price for a $7.50. I mean, it's an outstanding bourbon. Let's do another sip. So, shame on me a little bit. We haven't gotten to the rating. If I had to rate this, interesting, the internet says premium mid-tier. I would say it's premium. I would, if I had to rate this, I would rate this 94 to 96. Very solid. No more than 96. I think I don't know that it necessarily punches above its weight, but it delivers on an expectation. And so my advice would be, if you're going to celebrate America's 250th birthday with a bourbon, my advice would be, there couldn't be anything more American than pouring a Woodford Reserve. That's just my take on it. So take it for what's worth. That's not to say that there aren't other good bourbons out there to try. So in the name of the United States of America and its 250th birthday, cheers. We'll set that aside. Now the other half of the video you all are waiting on. The Colt Python. This is the 6-inch model. I have 2 of these. I have this one, and I have a 4-inch or 4 1/4 inch that's blued, which needs to go to the shop, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother video. Yes, I spent hours polishing this today for this video. Totally kidding, of course. For all you fine people on the internet, it is unloaded, as you can see. So, safety first. This is a 6-round. Let's see here. You can see the metal markings here. So, pretty interesting stuff on the manufacturing. You can see maybe, there it is, the name on the barrel. Like, the zoom is really having Difficult time picking that up. But it's there. This was reintroduced in 2020, and then COVID just kind of happened, and everyone forgot about the Python being reintroduced and it hitting the market, etc., etc. How you can tell this is a new Python, one is by the frame, this general area here. I think this top part's bigger. You can tell by the sight, you can tell by the hammer, you can tell by the trigger. The old Python trigger is more curved. There's also a QR code. I don't know if you can see it right there, but there is a QR code for servicing. And then also the serial numbers, which are right here. You can tell by that. This is a double action, single action rifle. So let's do a double action test. Decent trigger. Let's do single action. Decent trigger. Little mushy. Not the best. Not a Manurin, but that's easy to say. There's an orange front sight post that you can see there. You can adjust the sights. It's got walnut grips with the infamous Colt horse on it. Honestly, it's rather heavy. Very heavy. I mean, this can deal with 38 special and 357 Magnum. Well designed. I like it. It's difficult to compare against the Manurin because comparing it against a Manurin is not a fair comparison. And when we do a Manurin video, I'll explain why. Let's see, 6-inch barrel. It's heavy duty, that's obvious. You can also do 38 plus P. It's about 46 ounces, so close to 4 pounds. It's not a light gun. And then as far as price, you're looking at between $13.99 and $1,600, depending on where you get it. So again, kind of like Woodford Reserve, premium mid-tier. It's a very nice revolver. If you don't have one, I suggest you get one. I wish my 4-inch wasn't having an issue, but that's okay. But yeah, this is an awesome firearm. Definitely an heirloom and something that I'll keep for the rest of my life. So yeah, if you happen to go to a range and they have one, test it out. Do I think it's the best revolver that's out there? No, not necessarily, but I think it's a very solid go-to revolver. If I had to give it a rating, I would say 80 to 87. And that's not to say it's bad. It just doesn't rise to the occasion of a 95. Like I said, it's heavy, it's durable. It's great if you're out on a farm or a ranch. The 6-inch is a little heavy for a carry gun, but that's okay. So, let's take one last look at this again. See if I can move my hand so you can get a better look at it. It does need to be polished. Again, a revolver, the gun that won the West. Let's open up the chamber a little bit, the wheel. You can see the wheel right there. The wheel is open. We'll close the wheel. We'll do a couple trigger tests here. That's in double action. drop the hammer for single action. So again, quality made product. Yeah, I would purchase it again if I could. So yeah, so for America's 250th birthday, a double barrel episode with a Colt Python and Woodford Reserve. If you like this content, go ahead and like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. I'm sure your friends will appreciate this content. As I've said before, we do owe you some more brass content. We also owe you some bones content as well. So that should be coming in the future. So happy 4th of July. Thank you for all those of you who served our nation. We appreciate it. Go out and have a safe, good time this weekend. Cook some good food. Get to the range. Be safe at the range. You know, pour a bourbon or a beer at home and enjoy it with friends and family. And happy birthday, America. And until next time, cheers.